Well, things just keep on improving for the side, don't they? My name is Stephen Dawes. This is Palace of the Court. Don't forget to subscribe for more Crystal Palace news, views, and reviews. And today I'm talking about the Newcastle game, which beforehand I said that I didn't want to get carried away. If you watch the preview, I didn't want to get carried away. I wanted to, try and stay on level field here and just think to myself, yes, we played very well against West Ham. Yes, we played well against Liverpool, but you know we are still a team evolving, a team learning a new way of working. And so I didn't want to get carried away. I think I did say 3-0 in the end, which is a bit getting a bit carried away. But I never expected to see the game of football that I saw against Newcastle, because Newcastle are a good team. And, they do play well. Not perhaps as well as they have done in previous seasons because of injuries and things like this have happened, but they are a team that does play well. So I was a little bit concerned that we might not have the same sort of game that we've had against previous teams. In terms of the setup, we had Henderson in goal, Klein, Anderson and Richards at the back, Munoz, Wharton, Hughes and Mitchell in the middle, Ayew and Eze in front of them, no Elise from the back, no Elise from the start in this game, and then Mateta up front. Now, I kind of thought that Elise wouldn't start the game because, they're still managing his return, and, he has been playing well, but he hasn't played a full game yet. And I did wonder whether they would not play him from the beginning, and they didn't. They put Ayew in. So that from the start off, I thought, well, we might not be as creative because, Elise and Eze together is a particular combination that works well for us. But we did incredibly well. I mean, from the very first whistle, I felt that we were really trying to command the game. We were pressing really hard, really high up. We were tenacious in the tackle. We were, getting our foot in. We were harassing the players, Newcastle players, and it was really working. We were putting them off. We were causing them to make mistakes, and we were pouncing on loose balls and things like this. And it was kind of how we played against, it was an evolution of how we played against Liverpool and against West Ham. It was just a continuation of that. And yes, we didn't kind of have the same level of domination that we had against West Ham, but we were still in charge of the ball. We were still playing really, really well. We were passing up. Our passing was pretty good. A few odd passes went astray, but you can't expect it to be 100%. But we were working really well on and off the ball. And even going through the midfield and trying to get the ball forward quickly, the quick passing, it was all coming together for me in that game. And it was really high tempo, really energetic first half. And I just thought to myself, how are we going to maintain this? How can we keep this level of intensity? I mean, this is what Oliver Glasner wants us to do. He wants us to be able to maintain that level of intensity for the whole 90 minutes, 110 minutes, whatever it might be. But I was thinking to myself, how are we going to be able to do this? It was such an intense game, that first half. And it was really, really, high pressure. We didn't get the goal in the first half, but we did have a couple of really good chances. And I felt that it was good to see us having these chances, creating things. Because we were creating some really good opportunities. And, it wasn't just a case of we had the ball. We were creating opportunities as well. We were getting forward. Newcastle didn't really have anything much at our goal because we were stopping them. We were getting in there quickly. As soon as they got the ball, we were on them. Sometimes 2, sometimes 3 players around a player, just get the ball off them. We were harrying and compressing the area of play that they had, and that worked really well, I felt, for us, and we were doing really well. And so first half it ended up 0-0, but it was a half that I think we dominated quite well, to be honest with you. Second half, and I was a little bit concerned that we didn't take our chances in that first half, because sometimes you see a game where you're taking your chances and then things just don't work out. So I was a little bit concerned that we hadn't taken any of those chances. But second half came out, and again we were on a front foot for a lot of the time. Now Newcastle changed it up a little bit. They had Gordon being more of a floating player through the middle, and that did cause a few problems for us. They were getting some joy when he started to play a more of a free role through the middle, and that kind of concerned me a little bit. I was like, well, how are we gonna how we're going to adjust to this. But we did adjust to it, and and you could see Oliver Glasner was trying to talk to players. He was bringing players over, was talking to them, trying to get things sorted out, and we ended up picking them up a lot more, and nullifying to a great extent his threat. So we were adapting as the game was going on, which is something we haven't had for a long time. We haven't had a manager who is adapting the game as it's progressing. Not just going at half time, we'll change things. That's it. He was trying to adapt the play during the game, which was refreshing to see and good for us, because it means that if it was, as Gordon was causing trouble for us down the middle, he can then say, right, okay, you do this and this, you mark him and that kind of thing, and it nullifies the threat. So that was really good. Then on 55 minutes, our man JP got the first goal, and it was really good. I was really pleased with the with the way we worked it and with the setup and everything like that. It was a really good goal, really well taken, and what can I say? The man is a scoring machine at the moment. He's almost scoring for fun right now. And at 1-0, that was on 55 minutes, and at 1-0 I was a little bit concerned still, because I thought, well, Newcastle were going to try and come back on this, and they did try and put a bit of pressure on us, but we seemed to deal with it quite well, which I was really pleased about. And then for the rest of that half, it was just a case of us trying to keep the momentum up, and I think for the most part we did. We had Michael Olise did come on later on in the first half. In the second half, he came on. Jeffrey Schlupp and Reedy Wild came on, and towards the end of the game, Joel Ward came on for Klein. And I felt that no, Joel Ward didn't come on. He came on for Joel Ward came on for Munoz. I was sorry, not Klein. And so even though we were making these substitutions, I felt that we were still doing well. We were still playing well. I felt that we still had that momentum in there, especially when Elise came on. Although he did have some action, and he had some influence on the game, it wasn't quite the same as if it had started from the beginning. But then that's not always the case, because you've got to come up, you've got to get up to speed with the game, and you've got to get into the game and warm up properly and things like that. So I wasn't expecting him to do magic from the time he came on. But it was great to see him come on. It was great to see him have a part in the game as well. Eze did come off. Ayu came off. Munoz came off. And Wharton came off in the end. And I think part of that is because we've got another game coming up at the weekend. And I think that he wanted to try and save some of our first team players for, give them a little bit of a rest before that game. I was really pleased about the whole thing, and I felt that as a team we were still working really well even after all those changes, which again is something we haven't had before, so much before. Usually, we put our first team out, the best team we've got, and then we make substitutions, and our level drops and our intensity drops. But it didn't really seem to do that. Reed Wild again didn't have the best game, but he's still fresh in terms of the Oliver Glasner situation. He's still learning what he wants him to do. So I can't be too hard on him necessarily, but he didn't quite do the right thing. In fact, he did make a very good through ball to our own goalkeeper, who nearly ended in a goal. But it was, apart from that, I think it was a pretty good game of football all over. I mean, Henderson made a couple of really good saves, which I think will help him enormously when it comes to his confidence, because he didn't have a very good game towards the end, at points in the West Ham game. So for him to make those two good saves was good for his confidence, I think, and that's important for us and for him. I felt that, and then towards the end of the game, right at the end on the 88th minute, Mateta got his second goal, another great goal, and a great assist by Hughes. It was really, really good, well done, and you can see that JP is full of confidence right now. He was taking shots, he was getting in positions, he was closing down, he was holding the ball up really well. His whole game has gone up a level for me since he's been part of this Oliver Glasner rejuvenation. And not to say that Edouard hasn't played well. I think he's played okay, but I think Oliver Glasner seems to favour what JP offers, that he's not just a good striker, but he's also good at holding up the ball. He's good at stopping the ball, and looking around and passing it. He's good at that kind of thing as well. He's got more to his armoury than, so we say, Edouard. So I think that's why he's preferring him at the moment anyway. But I felt, and that was 2-0, and I was absolutely, ecstatic with that, because I thought we're going to concede a goal, it's going to be a draw. And I know it's a pessimistic way to look at it, but it's what we've had in the past. And I was thinking we're going to concede a goal, it's going to be a draw. But then to get that second goal at 88 minutes was just sublime. And it was testament to the way that we've been playing and the way that we were keeping Newcastle quiet. I mean, if you look at the stats, and I'm going to look at the stats here, we had 20 shots on goal, Newcastle had 7. We had 7 on target, Newcastle had 2. Now that just goes to show you how quiet we kept them, because that's not something you necessarily expect from Newcastle. Possession, they had slightly more possession than we did. Passes, slightly more passes they had than we did. We had 441, they had 503. So, and pass accuracy was around 76% for both of us. But, and we had 7 corners there too as well. So we were, our stats were good to back up the way that we played, which I felt was really important for us. And I think that, when you just looking at the whole team, it was a whole team performance. I think everyone played their part in this win, which is what you want. You want everyone to play a part. In the past, we've tended to rely on 1 or 2 players like Zaha or whatever to get us out of trouble. Now I think we're starting to see more of a team performance, a much more homogenized, that's the word I was looking for. See, word of the day, homogenized. A much more homogenized style of play where everyone plays their part and everyone has a responsibility. And I think that's good for us. Standout performances for me, I think Hughes again had a fantastic game. He's really gone up a level under Oliver Glasner. His passing was really good. His tenacity, he's hounding people down, getting the ball off them. Him and Wharton in the middle, really working well together. Absolutely amazing. And Richards had another great game, as you would expect. Klein was really good. He's got kind of pace to him. He's not the quickest, but he's got a lot of pace in terms of other, keeping up with other players. And I think that is what's tipping him ahead of Joel Ward at the moment, the pace that he's got, which is good for us. Munoz again had another great game. I think Ayew played well. He had a couple of cracks at goal, even though he didn't score. He had a couple of opportunities. Eze again had another really good game, and so did the substitutes, apart from Riedewald. I think they all played well as well. So overall, I was really pleased with that performance, and it's 3-3, which is fantastic for us. I think I've bored you enough now. Let me know what you think down in the comment section about this game. What was the standout thing for you? Did you have any players that you think particularly did better than anyone else, or any player that you think could have done more? Let me know down in the comment section what you think. I would love to hear that. And absolutely amazing. I'll see you next time.